Best of R / Tales from Retail episode 117. Subscribe for edit videos daily. No too long, didn't read, but here goes. Worked in a high-end jewelry boutique for many years. Customer bought pearls and requested stringing into a necklace. Our SOP is to not only photograph but to photocopy all angles and print actual size prints as receipts for both customer and store. This is to verify that each stone, pearl, any imperfection, crook, cranny, is as bought / received, and we deliver what belongs to the customer. I'm not sure if it's important, but I'll mention it as it comes up later. The company was started by my mum, but I never mentioned to any clients that I'm the boss's daughter, so no one knows. So this customer who was meant to come pick up her pearl necklace calls into the shop and requests a delivery instead, which I do personally for security reasons. When I reach her house, I am escorted into this huge mansion by butlers into her home den / office, where she is screaming at her house helper, who is basically just bowed and waiting for it to be over, turns to me and I deliver their jewelry. She opens the jewelry box and blew up, saying these are not her pearls, I stole them and switched them out for fakes in between leaving the shop and delivering to her. She will call my boss, who is her best friend, and get me fired unless I pay her back for her losses. I managed to keep composure and show her the photos. Color photocopies, measurements, pearl by pearl, why she is livid and screaming at me, demanding I do not stand near her. Who do I think I am? Go stand next to the maid, who was still stood there half bowed. I can't imagine, OMG, and bow to her respectfully. I was not going to do this, but I just didn't know how else to handle this situation except to offer to call the owner of the company, my mum, and she was like, yes, I'll get you fired. I call my mum and hand the phone to the customer. And my mum, just being herself with no idea what is happening on my side, says something along the lines of, my daughter explained you have a concern? And she was like, OMG, that's your daughter? And she was sweet as pie after that, all concerns and problems out the window. Why didn't you tell me you're her daughter? How old are you? I have a son who's just your age and he's so handsome, I must introduce you. Distressed face vomiting. I'm not going to lie, on the way back to the shop, I stopped for a quick cry because it was so ridiculous. I hadn't felt my face burn that hot, like I'm gonna bust into tears feeling, since I was scolded by a teacher in front of the whole class, primary school. I remember it all too vividly today. I did mark this as number 1 because there's more ridiculous stuff I may put up. Thank you. Next. I got a job at a certain unionized grocery chain recently, the one that's a half-hour drive from my home compared to the one that's 2 blocks away, but that's not important. I understand it's stressful right now, but that's no reason to take it out on a store employee. It might not even have been stress. Today, I had a customer come in with his wife and child, and had a reasonable amount of food on the conveyor belt. Asked him how his day was and all that, and he's acting pretty jovial, amazingly enough. Now, we instituted a limit on pork products recently, something about factories shutting down, and he's got 3 while our limit is 2. They're all sausages, and I tell him we have a limit on pork products. It's only 2 per household right now, and he's perfectly content and jokes, "Oh, do the sausages count?" Right, single quotation mark. So I respond, in a pretty matter-of-fact tone, because I just kind of gloss over humor and the like after a while and don't have time to formulate sentences completely correctly, that yes, the sausages count because they're pork. Now, I understand that could be seen as me insulting his intelligence or something, but it was really just me saying, yeah, it counts. Sorry about that. He just goes off the rails. His entire demeanor changes, and he just goes, you know what? Leave the sausages. Just leave everything. He starts hurling expletives at me, not yelling them, surprisingly, and just straight up leaves without any of the stuff he was going to pay for. He just leaves his stuff for my co-workers and I to clean up. He didn't yell or throw stuff around or break anything, but it was still an incredibly bad response to someone accidentally sassing you. I feel bad for the wife and kid. They probably have to deal with him being an embarrassment a lot. Thank you. Next. I work in the deli for a grocery store. This was before current things. This lady ordered chicken for pickup such and such time. She's there 5 minutes early, which no big deal, but some stuff happened and her chicken wouldn't be done for 10 minutes. She sent me back and forth with the kitchen like 3 times relaying this information. Then she gets the haughty tone, well, I ordered this for a specific time for a event. Now it's going to be late. 5 minutes because remember, she's early. So my question, what are you going to do for me? We found our adept assistant manager, they gave her $5 off to shut her up, which only came out to 10%. Thing that pissed me off most was she started out normal, then decided to start acting like she's high class and we're just servants. For a event. Yeah, I know what a party is, we both know you wouldn't get fried chicken for a gala, Karen, so drop the act. She managed to piss off 75% of our department in less than 10 minutes. Thank you. Next. I used to work at a retail store that frequently had buy one get one sales. A lot of times the signage on the floors were precariously placed so that people would see the sign but not read the fine print to see that only certain items apply. Well, one day a lady bought 2 items and when I was checking her out, they rung up full price. She immediately complained that it was supposed to be BOGO, and when I explained that it wasn't, she threw a fit, insisting I was wrong. So, the protocol here is to have an employee on the floor verify the price of the items, even though I already know for certain that I am correct. Employee comes back and says that the items are full price. I tell the customer she can use her 30% off coupon for one, but she still is angry. So I call the manager and manager tells me to give her the discount she wants. So, here's where it gets good. Me, okay mom, I've taken half off of both items to get the price you requested. Customer, no, it's buy one get one free, I want one free. Me, yes, of course. But because of the way our system works, the only way I can get the same price is to take half off of each item. I can't give you a 100% discount on one item. I have to charge you something for it. Customer, but you said I could get one free. I want my free item. Me, trying not to roll my eyes. The only way I can do that is to charge you 1 penny for that item because the system requires it to cost something. Is that okay? Customer, I guess that's fine. But I should get it free. The manager said it would be free. So I had to start all over and charged her the penny and then requested a break the second she walked out the door. TL. Dr. Lady doesn't understand that BOGO and half off are the same thing. Edit. My title is a little confusing. I wish I could change it. Our sale was buy one get one free. She bought 2 of the same items that didn't apply to the sale, but because she complained the manager said to give her half off each item because of the way our system worked. Lady didn't get that BOGO free was the same price as 1/2 off both items. Thank you. Next. So I run a small underwear brand and have been growing since January, when the bad thing that everyone is talking about right now hit. Sales dropped dramatically, but picked back up in about mid-April. Now one customer ordered from me and received his item, but he picked the wrong size. I wanted to send him a return label to send it back to the warehouse and I'd replace them free of charge. Here's what he emailed me. You must have a lot of things to work on and that maybe the return is going to make you incur in some expenses that might be key in small business like yours. I have been thinking about it and I think size S is going to fit me, and if I really like them next time I order I can ask for M size. I don't know what you think. I know you want to provide the best service and I know it was my mistake to not check correctly the size when I order the briefs. For sure I will give a review after I try them. I think that can help your business to grow. Amazingly enough, he ended up reordering and referring a friend. After dealing with people abusing the return policy, it's such an incredible feeling to have a customer want to support you during hard times. As a business owner, shout out to all you amazing customers. Companies like the largest online shopping platform in the world have made the merchant an anonymous party and people forget there's a person on the other end of customer inquiries. Here's to all you amazing people. Thank you. Next. Until very recently, I was working night shifts at a very busy Midwest gas station while at college. I was working there for almost a year, so I saw my fair share of weird/crazy things, but something that happened a couple months ago jumped to mind when I started reading this subreddit. The players in this story: C equals customer, CL equals crazy lady, FCW equals friendly co-worker. I had just arrived into work, and sometimes the second shift workers are scheduled for an hour overlapping with the third shift, in order to give us a jump on cleaning and stocking the things that need to be without constantly having to run back and forth to the registers to help people. Within that hour, I was working on changing the inside garbages, as second shift had not gotten around to it, when a customer, C, asked me, "Hey, do you have any specific creamer in stock?" He asked politely, and I knew that we did probably have some in the small cooler under the condiment table, so I said yeah, sure, 1 second, and headed over the 15 feet to the cooler to grab one for him. When I arrived at the condiment cooler, a woman, CL, was applying condiments blocking one door, and she had set a massive bag on the ground, blocking the other. Not thinking anything of it, I say in my joyful customer service voice, "Excuse me real quick, could I please get in there?" CL snaps at me, "You are not excused." I was not really sure if she was joking at this point, but there seemed to be real malice in her voice, and she then gave me a dirty look. I just stepped back, waiting for her to do her thing. At this point C walks back up to me and asks, "So, did you have any?" And I said, "I'm not sure, 1 moment." Subtly gesturing towards the blocked cooler, and he waits there with me a small distance away. Relatively quickly CL finishes up her sandwich and I grab C his creamer from the cooler. At this point, from even the small interaction I have had with this woman, I can tell there is going to be a fireworks show when she gets up to the register and has to talk to people. So I strategically begin changing one of the garbages right by the registers when CL goes up. When she approaches the counter, FCW is working the register, and I hear him open up with an "Anything else for you tonight?" When we talked later, he said he specifically did not ask how she was, as she looked pissed. She gives no response, so he just continues, "That will be $XX. XX. CL explodes at him. I don't remember everything verbatim, but what I do remember is how FCKING dare you speak to me that way? Is your name on this FCKING receipt? I am going to talk to your manager. This is FCKING unacceptable." She goes on like this, berating him for literally 25/30 seconds, in a tone that has the most vitriol I have ever heard spewed out of a human being. Keep in mind, again, the only words he uttered were the usual cashier stuff. She finally grabs her change and storms out of the store. C was in line as this was going down, and he and I share a WTF look as it's happening, before he walks up and laughs about it with FCW at the register. Some people, FCW, and I also had a laugh about her when there was a quiet moment at the registers. What else are you supposed to do? CL came in again several hours later that night to buy cigarettes, and she actually did not scream at me while I was helping her. I was proud of that one, although I really did nothing differently than FCW. She may have been on something. I don't know. Edit. Clarity. Thank you. Next. My place of work is a big department store in the UK. I mainly worked on women's shoes, but I'm also till trained and would sometimes be asked to work on the tills whenever it was busy. This day happened to be very busy, so I was asked by my supervisor to help out on the tills. How long I remained on tills for depended on how many customers were queued up. This could last any time between 10 minutes to half an hour. Due to it being extremely busy that day, I remained on the tills until my shift finished. Once my shift ended, I signed off my till and started to walk towards the staff exit so I could clock out for the day. With the way the building was laid out, it was a bit of a walk from the till to the door, but I didn't mind it too much. As I was walking, a lady approached me asking if we had any of the travel bottle sets. These were basically a pack of empty plastic bottles that people would fill with shampoo and shower gel, which they would then take on holiday with them. Usually I don't know much about specific items in other departments. However, part of my job when the shoe department wasn't too busy was to put out baskets of stock in other departments, so if I've seen an item and someone approaches me later about it, I can help them out. Luckily this happened to be one of the items where I knew the location of, and while usually I just want to get out of there when my shift is over and ask another colleague to help out, it wasn't too far out of my way as the department it was in was right in front of me and the lady was extremely nice, so I didn't mind going the extra mile. I went into the beauty department with the lady and was able to locate the item and handed it to her. The lady was so grateful that she threw her arms up and pulled me into a hug. This actually surprised me at first because in retail this very rarely happens. The most you get from people is a thank you, and it's also more common for people to complain about bad customer service than for them to compliment good customer service. She let me go and smiled at me before going on her way. I made my way to the exit, clocked out and headed home. I know this wasn't particularly eventful, I just thought it would be nice to share a more wholesome story as it's very rare to see stories like that in retail. Also, I know this was a few years ago, but lady, if you're still out there, just know that you really made my day.